Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. What's the dumbest way you've gotten a scar? I have a scar on my forearm from a weaponized paper airplane I taped razor blades to and launched with a rubber band. Edit. Holy crap. Had no idea what I was getting into when I posted this. Thanks for the upvotes and awards everyone. Going to try and post some pictures. Edit. Photos of the monstrosity sadly. This happened when I was 22. In the Air Force as a 3DOX2. It sliced my forearm open on launch. I enlisted the help of another member of our shop to help me destroy the evidence and drive me to the base hospital to get stitches. Weapons too brutal for war. I believe that is the first time I've ever seen the phrase, weaponized paper airplane. FBI on here taking notes like, write that down, write that down. Edit. Didn't think this was a good meme, but now it's my most upvoted comment. Thanks, internet people. Science Edit. Holy crap. Thanks everyone who gave awards. This is my first time getting one. Also didn't expect to come back and see 10k upvotes. Since he wrote it here and found out razor blade paper planes are dangerous, it's science. Don't touch the iron, it's hot. Can't be that hot. Narrator, it was. You should have checked your tag to see at what setting to set the iron for human skin. Oh, so that's what skin tags are for. I once used a hot iron to burn a poison ivy rash on my arm. My reasoning was a burn would have to feel better than the itching. Worked like a charm. Didn't even scar much. This is the worst successful advice I've heard. I was 7. Mum said, don't use that knife to cut that orange. I used that knife to cut that orange. Things I learned. Orange juice in a wound stings, but not as much as the knowledge you can't go crying to your mum. Ah yes. I also have a sliced finger along with orange scar. I had a strangely lucid moment where I stared at it and thought, this is going to really hurt in a second. A second later it started really hurting. Yeah, can't go to your mom. You don't want to look like an OJ wimp son. Boys from my class were throwing CDs like you throw frisbee. One of those hit me right between the eyes. Still got a small scar there. My siblings and I loved that game. It's a wonder none of us got hurt. Except for this one time we accidentally hit this other kid right between the eyes. You should be thankful they didn't decapitate you. I'll make sure to send them basket of fruits or something. Basket of CDs. Waste basket Blu-ray edit. Thanks for the wholesome, kind stranger. I used a pressure washer on my foot. I knew a guy that blew a hole straight through his foot with one. We had those huge pressure washers using a truck motor and could cut steel. So, what exactly would you wash with a pressure washer that could cut steel? Using very high pressure water is starting to gain popularity in dockyards to strip paint and rust from ship hulls. Having had the displeasure of cleaning up a ship after a dock visit where they did a lot of sand blasting. Man, I wish they'd used high pressure water. Geez. I pressure washed my entire roof barefoot and hit my feet a few times. I wouldn't think it could scar. I don't have any decent scars, despite being the kind of guy that pressure washes his roof barefoot. Injection injuries are no joke. They can well and truly frick you up. This video is simulating high-pressure hydraulic fluid as an example, but a pressure washer would do almost the same thing. Not so fun things to swap out with your B-Day 101. I have one on the back of my hand from rubbing the skin off with a pencil eraser longer than their other kid did when I was 13 just to prove I was tough. I've done this with the salt and ice challenge. Fun fact, don't put salt on your arm and then cover it with ice and press it down. You will burn your flesh off. I'm pretty sure you wish you could erase that scar now. Jesus Christ. I have a scar on the back of my right hand for doing the exact same thing probably at about there. Same age. The school called it the rubber challenge. We called it rubbing one out. Boyle, you gotta know how that sounds. Busting a rub. Rubbing off. Oh no, what have I done? Y'all dumb as crap. We flicked coins at other people's hands so everyone had absolutely wrecked knuckles from getting quarters flung at them at hypersonic velocities. That got banned real quick. My brother, sister and I all have the same kind of scar in our left eyebrow and got them at the same age. My brother opened an empty dresser drawer and smacked himself in the face. My sister ran into a brick wall and I fell off the couch onto a coffee table. Edit. I'm amazed how much this comment blew up throughout the day. Hundreds of comments. I took the time to read each and every one of them. Took a while but I did it. Couldn't help but upvote each one. It was a pleasure reading each story and it's crazy just how many of us have the same scar from a coffee table. Much love everyone. I'm picturing this all happening in the same 5 minutes and your parents come home to everybody bleeding out. Blood everywhere. Kids quietly playing video games in the living room. Bleeding profusely from their heads. My sister ran into a brick wall. Explain. She was running until she abruptly wasn't. I have a tiny scar on my left or right eyebrow and I don't know where it came. Thinking face. The long-lost sibling. Yes, you, XX Adolf Hitler 42,069 XX had been missing since 1945. I was trying to squeeze between two cars. One of the cars must have had a jagged bumper because it sliced a 2-inch gash in my leg. Reminds me on the day after tomorrow. At first I was thinking you were driving a car yourself and wondering how the frick you scarred yourself while inside a car. He was the car. For my 8th birthday, a classmate got me something like a grow-your-own stalagmite kit you could buy at educational stores. Apparently, the purpose was to add water to some powder material, and use a funnel in the kit to drip it down to make your own cave features. Exciting, I know. Anyway, I kept it and the other birthday presents I got in a cardboard box in my room. Evidently, at some point, moisture got into the box and the plastic the powder was in, and it began expanding, having nowhere else to go. That stalagmite material oozed its way out through the narrow slits in its box, and hardened into razor-sharp edges. I found this out quite bloodily when I put my hand into my birthday box to grab another toy, and pulled it out with permanently altered fingerprints on my thumb, index, and middle fingers. Ouchies. My dog that got one of these sets for Christmas. She never got to use it. Her little brother 3 years old found it in her room. He is not allowed to be there. Didn't tell us and took it to his room. Later when we slept, he got up ABD took it to the bathroom. Now I don't know what was in those bottles, but every one of them were chemicals with a big black cross on them. And the text, "Not suitable for children," on them. My bathroom was blue, purple ABD yellow for month. Luckily he was smart enough not to eat it. Another time he stole the medicine basket we had on the highest place in the kitchen. He had taken a chair, climbed up on the kitchen table, then climbed the kitchen cabinets, and then managed to take it down. It is a big basket, so I have no idea how he managed that. Then took it to his room and sat down and did I don't know what. But all the medicine bottles were emptied when we found the basket and there were like 2 or 3 full bottles of fluid aspirin for kids when he took it that had been completely emptied. 0.0 he never got sick from it. So my guess is he just played doctor with his teddy bears instead of eating it himself. Thank God, we never leave him alone for a second anymore. And apparently the punishment was so tough. He knows better now. Kids are little suicide machines. I have 2, so now I'm preventing suicide and fratricide. I got cut by a vacuum. A fricking vacuum. I feel you. I got cut by a screen door. Early one morning I was taking my dog, Snoopy, outside to use the bathroom and I guess he had to go really bad. So, he started flying down the stairs of the back porch right after I opened the door. He was on a leash and I didn't want to hurt him and make him fall down the stairs. So I rushed out behind him. I was wearing a pair of wool socks and slippers and as I awkwardly started following him, the bottom corner of the screen door clipped me on the heel. It hurt a bit and I just limped around as he did his business. When I got back inside I decided to take my sock off because it was uncomfortably hurting and I see there is a good amount of blood that has seeped through the sock. I pull it off and see that I actually have a pretty big gash across the back of my ankle. A crappy screen door freaked me up. All because of bad timing. Here is a picture of the gash the next day. Don't underestimate screen doors. They can hurt you. Elaborate, my friend. Spider on my arm. Violently jerked arm as an attempt to get the spider off. Vacuum was there. Scar. Hands clapping. Spider on my arm, violently shook it off. Vacuum was there. Scar. I'm not Haiku-bot. It just needed to be done. Edit. Adjusting middle stanza to account for my heathen dialect, which emitted a syllable violently. Good Redditor. Once was jerking off, there was a vacuum nearby, now I have a scar. Once I was using a vacuum to jerk me off, now I have a scar. Seven-year-old me was helping my mum iron clothes. I pulled on the cord. The iron fell and smacked me right in the face. I still have a scar above my right eye. Edit. Who the frick gave this a wholesome award? CMON brew. Skull fracture with epidural hematoma. Marv is dead. 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 Why was our nose close enough to get hit? I was just learning to wee in the grown-up toilet, and I thought I was clever. Went to my grandparents' old clanker of a toilet without a step or anything. Tippy toes to get in any sort of bead on the target. The lid was one of those that you think is going to stay up, but actually needs holding or it falls down. I didn't know this, it fell down. Phew, you could have taken a fatal hit if you weren't defending with the other head. I was headbanging my hair dry in the bathroom. I hit the counter. I was 8. I legit laughed alone in my empty office when I read this. A calamity, indeed. Miss Jane. Thanks for the Monday morning smiles. When I deliberately cut myself. Not seriously. I just wanted the word ninja on my hand. Don't ask me why. Wow, you carved ninja on your hand. Can you share a pic? I am very curious. It was a long time ago, you can't see much anymore, just one line of the first N, sorry. I knew a guy who got a prison tattoo-style Nike logo on his arm. He managed to cover it up, mostly, with your typical crosses, graves, skulls artwork. I cut myself once too, just once, because I was very stressed out over my university exams, and I wondered whether it would calm me down. It didn't, but it left a scar. I never understood cutting. It's a serious affliction, I know, and I've had several good friends go through phases of it. But how was it ever a solution to their problems? Or a relaxation technique? My initial thoughts were, it's a cry for help, or they want the attention. However, most frequently they'd keep it to themselves and try to hide it. It can be a relaxation when the pain outside makes you temporarily ignore the pain inside. You focus on it, and the overwhelming anxiety dims for a moment. So I broke my right arm when I was a kid, then decided to put a cast on me. My skin under my cast is so itchy. It's like my skin is alive. When 2 months have passed, I decided to scratch my skin under the cast using a pen since my fingers couldn't reach further areas. While doing so, I accidentally put the pen further away inside that I can't remove it under my cast since I can't reach it. Then I just ignored it after that, thinking that it will be just fine, and I didn't tell that to my parents since they would be mad. After 2 months, they decided to remove my cast since it's already due, but the night before removing my cast, my mom noticed that my arm smells rotten. So fast forward, they removed the cast in my arm in the hospital, then they noticed that the pen was penetrating my skin for months and the hole is about the size of a penny full of pus. I didn't even feel a thing. After that, the hole eventually became a penny-sized scar in my skin. A similar thing once happened to me. I always have an earring in that. Since they're small, I never take them out or even touch them. A few years ago, I wore it a little too tight, and when I tried removing it, I realized I couldn't. So I asked my mom to help, and she said my skin started growing over my earring. It didn't leave a scar, but I've kept my earring loose ever since. Edit. Wow, it's nice to know so many people did this when they were little. And then here I am doing it as a teenager XD. I take it you didn't have the high ground. Thanks for watching LWIAR. The best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too. And don't forget to like and subscribe.